Peter. Hey, come. Good to have you here. Alright, so basically this is going to be a quick virtual tour and a virtual demo, and we have done plenty and plenty of physical demos, but what I realized was that we had just so much demand and it was just difficult for us to keep up with it. And again, I don't want to outsource any of these efforts because I want to make sure you have the highest value and I want to serve you at the highest level. So I've kind of got a team to put together a simple demo whereby we can have this interaction. And come over, I'm going to show you a few things and I'm going to be really transparent here. I'm going to show you 100% on exactly how we do it from head to toe, how we craft ultra profitable ads for financial advisors. And by the end of this session, I'm sure you'll get tons and tons of value. So a couple of things I want to show you. Firstly, I want to take you through the whole process on how it typically works. Later on, I will go through more of the details. I will get down to the small things to show you what are some of the tweaks that we've made over time as we get better and better to really serve you at the highest level. Now, quick one. This is our backend. So the whole flow goes something like that. This is our backend on how we run the ads, and we'll be running the ads entirely for you. And the process is something like that. If you're seeing this, most probably you went through our page, whereby you click a few things and you will actually kind of press start quiz and you will actually go down to the different questions and you will answer them. Now that is something similar, but what we're doing for you as a financial advisor to reach your audience is something similar, but it's not that high level, it's not that difficult. Because you realize the quiz I made you guys do is there are many steps, but that is okay because that's my market, where the desire is very, very high. For your market, it will be something that's a lot simpler and it will look something like that. So as compared to you having to go out and canvas for leads, or as compared to you having to go out to kind of like beg for attention, instead your consumer, your lead, will go through a path like that. So this is an example. You'll come into this particular page, you will see this ad, right? Insert, call out your target audience with a specific statement that will trigger them. It could be family planning, it could be mortgage, it could be pregnancy, it could be high net worth, it could be whatever it is that your niche is within. And that is where the moment they are engaged with the ad, they will be asked a series of questions where they have the answer. And in these questions, right, let's come a bit closer. I want to get really clear on this portion. In these questions, we want to pre-qualify them and of course, pre-sell them. What that means is this. For example, this is more towards, let's say, mortgage, right? So we're asking them questions and we're trying to qualify them. And we will also ask them certain questions where we get their implied consent. You see, a question like that, as a homeowner, would you agree that when it comes to mortgage, the shorter the better? Of course they would agree. And we ask them questions like that to actually get them, to move them closer and closer to where we need them to be, which is in a position to take up your offering. So questions like that, they will put yes. And of course, in any part of the sequence where they put no, right, they will already be taken out, so they wouldn't even see the quiz to the end. But if they choose yes all the way, what happens is they will make it all the way to the end, and that is where we will prompt them to put in their handphone number willingly. Right, so over here, we will get them to put in a number, and once you have a number, here is where the magic happens. So you get on your phone, the most powerful tool of a salesperson, because this is the part you can't automate. You get on the phone, you put in a number, 8 numbers, you put it in, and you call them, and you start speaking. But now when you speak, it is not just about talking randomly. It is about referring back to the lead path. Let me explain. Your lead is not a random lead. Your lead has been through a quiz, a 30-second experience of questions of you asking them. So when I get on the call, what I will do now is I will relay back to the lead path. So I could say something like, hey, Mr. Prospect, I noted that in your quiz or in the chat, you mentioned that you had a mortgage. Is that correct? They will say yes or no. I noticed that you mentioned that you had a mortgage of X amount of years that you can repay. Is that correct? They will say yes or no. And I noticed that you mentioned that you wanted a way to grow your savings a bit faster so you can pay your mortgage off shorter. Is that correct? And they will say yes or no. Then you will start talking to them, and that is how you build immense relevance. Because now that they have been through a lead path, you know exactly the questions, the answer to their questions, and you use that to build relevance to get them down to an appointment. And come over here, I'm going to show you an example of some of the actual response that we've had. This is an example of a campaign. I can't show you the details, but I can take a quick look at it. So as you can see, all these are numbers that we've gotten, tons and tons of them, the numbers. And when a number comes in, it'll be something like that. And of course, they will have went through an entire lead path. They will answer all these questions, yes, no, income and everything. And then they will put a number over here. And you can see this is one of the campaigns that we have run, probably just less than 30 days, 1.8k subscribers, meaning 1.8k leads. Let me ask you a question. How would it be if you could have 1.8k leads, 1,800 leads in your next 30 days of business? how different would that mean for your business? Of 1.8k leads, just assuming you close half of them, what would that increase be worth to your business in terms of sales? Pretty much everything, right? Pretty much everything. And one last thing I want you to take note of is this. Again, as I said in my previous videos, marketing is not magic, it is data. So this is our Google Sheet that we use, the last portion, to track every single thing that happens with the lead. So what that means is once you have the lead, you will put the name over here, you will put the number over here, you will call them, you will track what happens in the call, and you will track what happens in the appointment. So over time, as we have all this data, that is how we can be better and better at our targeting, and that is how our campaign will get smoother and smoother. Because ultimately, there are certain objections if you meet it at the end. For example, if they are not a decision maker or if they don't have the money, right? These are objections that if you meet at the end, it's very difficult to handle. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it up to frame that at the start. And that is where you realize that every single question I ask in my sequence, these are not just random questions. These are questions which I know I will face objections at the back. I bring that up, I pre-frame that at the start so that I can get those out of the way first. And that's the same thing of what we'll be doing for you. So that is essentially the process. But again, depending on your target market, it could be very different. If you're targeting pregnant moms, if you're targeting retirees, if you're targeting young adults, the approach will be very different. But essentially, this is a behind the scenes of the psychological process of crafting those ads and how we've managed to create ultra profitable ads for our clients. But so far, do you have any questions so far?
Will the leads be recycled?
What I can say is with assurance and 100% conviction, we do not recycle any leads, and the reason for that is because we are simply capable of acquiring leads. So every single lead is fresh, and the lead who have went through a lead path, they are fully fresh. They just came in like literally in real time, and 100% we do not recycle any leads at all.
How do I know if this works?
There's a few ways you can know that this works. Number one is that you are looking at this, right? So you went through the whole lead path. That is the same thing for our own business model. So we talk the talk and we walk the talk. And number two is we have done this countless of times and we have basically dominated attention in the entire financial industry. So how I'll put it back to you is that the lead is definitely not an issue. The only issue if this will work is, can you close the leads?
I'm not sure which marketing angle to go for.
That is not a concern. Again, that will all be discussed after you've made the decision on whether you want to proceed or not. So that comes a bit later in our strategy call. But essentially, we implement really fast. So once you've made a decision, in about 48 hours, we can confirm everything and we'll have our strategy call. Within the next 24 hours, we will launch the campaign. Meaning from the point of decision to the point of campaign is going live, the point of your campaign going live is 72 hours. So the marketing angle, the heavy lifting we'll discuss in the back end, right? Once you have made a decision, but the first thing you can decide is whether it is something you want to proceed with or not.
Is this PDPA and compliance free?
Yes, of course. PDPA is not an issue. PDPA, because this one, Facebook has a general algorithm that says that if you put your number, obviously you allow the advertiser, which is us, to contact you in this particular format, and that is why PDPA is not an issue. And of course, compliance, because we don't mention anything about company name at all. Number one, compliant. Number two, because it truly does not add value to the conversation, and that is why we don't talk about company, we don't even talk about product. So those two are not an issue at all.
How much to pay and how fast will the leads be delivered?
Alright, so as I was saying, in terms of the lead delivery, the speed is not an issue. We can execute within 2 days, and our minimum package is going to be 6K. That is for 200 leads. So it's 6K for 200 leads. And that's going to be delivered in over 2 months, roughly there, but it can be any shorter, it can be any faster, that's not an issue. But the minimum commitment is 6K. So that's something that you want to be taking note of.
Can I pay half first, then the other half?
When people they come to us and they make this kind of proposition, they want to pay you half first, then I pay the other half later. It sounds logical. The issue with that is you cannot expect me to fight the same battle with half the resource. What that means is if I craft the campaign based on the minimum order, I can craft a campaign based on a position of strength. But if you only give me half the resource, or if you only give me a quarter of the resource, and you are telling me to just fight as though you have full resource, then it becomes very difficult on our part. And that's why to make sure that you have skin in the game, we absolutely insist on the minimum order, which is what we have experimented to be really efficient, and that is why it's a minimum of 6K. If if you're not ready to invest that kind of financial resources in yourself, then we probably not right fit. But if you want to work with us and get good results, the minimum is 6K.
Must I decide by today?
Yes, we want clients who can decide fast, because we work very fast, and we want to work with committed clients. And people who are committed, they are decisive because they know what they want.
But I want to think about it.
When people say that, what it means is a no, but they're just afraid to say it, right? So the whole purpose of this virtual demo is to give you an idea on what we are really doing and what we're really about. And we are very, very focused on results, and we move very, very quick. And that is why we want to work with clients who can close, number one, number two, who are committed, and number three, who are decisive. So before you come down for the physical demo, before you even move on, before you take this relationship to the next level, ask yourself this question based on what you have shared so far. Ask yourself this question: if results are guaranteed, I repeat myself, if results are guaranteed, are you comfortable investing $6,000 in your business to get leads? If the answer is yes, we can have a discussion, we can move things around, we can make arrangements. If the answer is no, then we are not on the right fit for that. So I hope you have enjoyed this virtual demo. I hope you have learned some value. I hope you have learned something, but more importantly, make your decision. And if I get to see you in person, I look forward to doing business with you.